Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to Accelerated Health TV and radio show. I'm your host, Sarah Banta. I'm a health coach, natural supplement expert, and a busy mom of three. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you're notified every week with my new podcasts on Mondays and Tuesdays. And if you haven't already, join my free group coaching on Telegram with the link below. I teach you on a daily basis with tips and tools to enhance your health, and you will be a part of a like-minded group to support you on your journey. In addition to truly taking control of your health, there's no downside. The protocols and supplements I discuss are all found at sarahbantahealth.com. And today we are talking about osteoporosis supplements for arthritis prevention and support and what to do about it. This is a big topic, not just with women, but for men as well. Bone density as we get older. Last week I talked about body composition, and one of the reasons you may lose weight on the scale is because your bone density is going down. That's not a good thing. So anyways, just touching on that, that's why you want to do these body scans that give you a full picture of what's going on in your body. And the in-body scan that I've talked about with Heather Hineker from Ascent actually measures your bone density. So that's one reason to do these scans. But bone density is a health concern for many men and women as they age. Osteoporosis is an arthritis that weakens the bones. Therefore, with the fragility of age comes the increased risk of injury from falling or even minor bumps. I heard a statistic the other day that if you are over the age of 65 and you have a fall, you have a 30% chance of mortality within 12 months. That is a scary statistic. So in other words, if you fall and you're after 65, you might not make it to your 66th birthday, and that risk has increased significantly. So it is something we all need to be looking at. We need to be looking at it when we're in our 20s and 30s and 40s to prepare our body as we get older. Osteoporosis leads to a loss of bone mass in men and women, and due to the loss of calcium and phosphate. And some people say, okay, well, I'm going to lose calcium, and that is the risk factor for osteoporosis, so I'll just supplement with calcium. Supplements, it's not that easy. That's like saying, okay, so if I want to lose weight, I'll just not eat fat, right? That's not the way the body works. And you tell me, has it worked in the past? I know all of you have tried a diet in the past, cutting out the fat or cutting out the calories. Has it worked every single time? No, because there's a lot of other moving factors. So osteoporosis means osteo means bone, and porosis means porous. It occurs when the inside of the bone becomes porous. And it's primarily due to age, but it does affect people in their younger years. And so something we're going to look at is, at strength training and that sort of thing. So what's interesting is gymnasts. You look at these Olympic gymnasts who are very lean and small, and a lot of them are suffering from maybe malnutrition or eating disorders where they're not getting enough nutrition in them. And then you've got swimmers who don't necessarily have an issue with eating too much. They feed themselves well, but they're in the water. Guess who has more risk of bone loss and osteoporosis? It's actually the swimmers, because they are not doing weight-bearing exercises. They are not being forced against gravity to have that impact that is so important for bone strength, where the gymnasts are jumping off the balance beams and jumping and jumping and jumping, and that hard impact is doing more for their bodies than the actual nutrition going in. So just wanted to throw that in. It's not all about calcium and nutrition. The causes of osteoporosis, there are a few. Number one, diet. Many people eat a diet full of too much sugar, carbs, and processed foods. And these foods are highly acidic. The acidity causes the bones to leach out the important minerals from the tissues in the bones, weakening the bones. So you've got magnesium and calcium and all of these great minerals stored in the bones. And your blood has to be a very specific pH, okay? Not too acidic, not too alkaline. If it goes out of balance at all, you will die. So what does your body do? If you are too acidic from the diet you're taking in, it's going to say, okay, well, for survival, I'm going to take a lot of that calcium out of the bones to balance that pH. If you drink one soda, whether it's diet or regular, you need to drink 32 glasses of alkaline water just to balance that out. That is how acidic a Diet Coke is, or any soda. And you think about the people that are drinking multiple sodas a day just for energy because we're so energy deficient, right? We're just doing anything we can to get energy. And that's the wrong way to do it. But it's also weakening your bones and causing an acidic problem in the body, which is then causing inflammation and a whole other array of problems. But sugar is acidic, the carbs are acidic, the processed foods are acidic, even some of the healthy foods are acidic, and we're going to get into that. So eating a diet including cooked wild animal protein, which is great, but that's a little bit acidic, so you've got to balance it with the alkaline foods. However, when the diet is combined with GMOs, sugar, and processed foods, the acidity is way too much for the body to handle. And then the sugar, processed foods, and the wrong healthy foods could be making matters worse by causing more and more minerals to be used up to negate the acidity from these foods. And then those wrong healthy vegetables are causing leaky gut, which is causing malabsorption of the good nutrients we're taking in. So there's this domino effect, and you're not even getting in the good nutrients from the good foods that your body normally would to balance out the acidity from the processed foods and the sugars. So it's really important to fine-tune your diet. The most acidic foods leading to osteoporosis include soda, pork, conventional beef, packaged and processed foods, coffee, GMO foods. I would tell you that pork and soda are the absolute worst. And you know how, like on the Richter scale, when you're looking at earthquakes, how a 6.1 is 10 times more detrimental or stronger than a 6.0. That is the way the pH scale works. So just a 0.1 difference is a huge difference. So when you look up what is the acidity or what is the pH of certain foods, know that just a small increment on that scale is a huge difference. And I recommend you Google your favorite foods and what the pH is of it. So it's not just what you do eat, but it's what you don't eat that is important to look at as well. And stress causes acidity in the body to increase by a lot. So this is away from what we're eating. So as a result, the calcium then further leaches from the bones to compensate for the lowered pH in the blood. And if the pH in the blood becomes even slightly too acidic, the body will die, like I said. So what's the body going to do? It's going to do everything it can to keep that pH in normal range, even sacrificing the bone density. And the stress will lead to systemic inflammation throughout the body, aggravating arthritic pain in the joints. So A lot of people will say as soon as they change their diet and reduce the inflammation in the body, their arthritic pain goes away. So what's interesting is that will immediately go away, but obviously that's not going to improve bone density overnight. But you are going to see an improvement in your pain, which is then going to allow you to do things to help improve your bone density even more. So a lack of strength training. Strength training is an integral part of preventing osteoporosis. And this goes back to the example of the gymnast versus the swimmer. Often those with arthritic pain, though, abstain from exercises and lifting heavy weights due to their pain. And this will exacerbate the propensity for osteoporosis as the bones will become weaker without weight-bearing exercises. This is why it's important, especially you women in menopause or getting into that age group. You need to lift heavy weights. What does that mean? Well, pick up some dumbbells. If you can do more than 10 reps, it's not heavy enough. You want to get to the point where you can only do 8 to 10 reps of an exercise, and you want to be sore the next day. And you want to have this feeling that there's exhaustion in the muscles during the rest of the day. And this strength training is going to not only strengthen the bone density, but it's going to increase muscle mass. And what that's going to do, it's going to give your muscles more propensity to want to strength train. And then it's also going to give the muscles the strength to lift heavier weights that is going to strengthen the bones. So it's a fine-tuned machine. And then what happens is you've got more ATP in the body. ATP, mitochondrial health, this is your key to anti-aging. This is the key to return the clock back to when you were in your 20s. You should not be feeling worse as you age. There are some people that say there's maybe not even such a thing as menopause. I'm not saying that or I am, but because there's even the theory out there, we don't have to feel worse as we get older. But all of these things are keys to better health as we age. Stronger muscles increase ATP, which increases the body's ability to strengthen its bones, and we go on. Too much cardio exercise. We grew up, if you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, you grew up in an era where aerobic exercise was a big thing. Well, too much cardio is not just going to be a short-term stressor on the body, increasing acidity, but the acidity in the blood and the extraction of calcium from the bones is going to occur. And it's also going to increase in sweat, leading the body to sweat out more minerals, including salt, magnesium, and calcium, all of the very alkaline minerals. Calcium, magnesium, and sodium are extremely alkaline. And that's what your body's going to use to combat the stress and the acidity in the body. So when we are doing too much cardio, that's putting too much stress on the body, and that's going to weaken the bones if you're not replenishing with those electrolytes. The wrong healthy foods. Okay, so the foods that are touted to be good bone building foods, like spinach, Popeye, right? Popeye had tons of spinach. Kale and other green leafy vegetables could actually be leading to bone loss and arthritis. Those vegetables contain plant poisons, including sulfur, oxalates, lectins, and those could be disrupting the detox pathways and disrupt gut function, whereby the nutrition absorption is compromised, leading to more inflammation and acidity through the body. And then you look at it further, and things like oxalates, where there are kale, you've got chocolate, berries, spinach, almonds, a lot of the nuts. Those oxalates actually are causing gout, leaky gut, slow thyroid, and hypothyroidism is actually connected to bone loss. but those oxalates love to get stored in the thyroid and in your tissues and your joints. That is one of the number one causes for arthritis. So then we have the oxalates in our bones and our tissues. We have pain. We don't get out of bed and go to the gym. Then we don't strength train, leading to a bone loss and exacerbation of this chain reaction. Then you've got the soil depletion of minerals. So over the years, the soils have become depleted of the alkaline minerals needed for bone health and combating inflammation. For instance, broccoli, which is a sulfur vegetable, today has 5% of the nutrition it did in the 1950s. And as a result, even if mineral absorption in the body is optimized, very little is coming from the vegetable or fruit. So enjoy your fruits and vegetables for taste. Eat the ones that don't have the oxalates or sulfur. Most people have an okay time with certain lectin vegetables and fruits like cucumbers and squashes and zucchinis. Those seem to be okay, whereas the grains and the hemp, the chia seeds, the other other grains that are full of lectins are worse for you and going to cause a gut problem. But some of the other ones are okay. A lot of the lettuces are fine, like romaine and Bib lettuce, cucumbers. Those vegetables are very alkaline, and they also don't have some of these plant poisons that are going to disrupt your absorption of the minerals. So what can you do about this? Here we are. We're going to get off the soda. Trade your sodas in for iced tea, for iced coffee, some of those drinks. Stay away from the monster drinks. Those are really, really bad for the energy production in the body, but also for your bone density. But what can we do about it now? So here are some supplements and protocols, diet patches that you can do to support osteoporosis and arthritis. Number one is Acceleradine. And it is number one on most of my protocols because it does so much for your health. Over 96% of the United States is deficient in iodine due to our soil's depletion. It's really hard to get in our diet. It is necessary to prevent osteoporosis. In fact, iodine levels were significantly lower in women with postmenopausal osteoporosis. Furthermore, it helps reduce inflammation related to arthritis. Acceleradine is the only iodine that's 100% bioavailable. Most iodine supplements are 10 to 20% bioavailable. And if any of you follow Mercola, he released an article today about the importance of iodine and where it has become so misconstrued on the studies on people being afraid of taking iodine. So if you don't follow Mercola, look up that article. It was released today. It was a great article. So Acceleradine, 100% bioavailable, enhanced with scalar frequencies to organize the DNA, reverse damage done to the DNA, helps with apoptosis, which is the destruction of diseased cells. What we're finding is because of the spike protein, apoptosis is not occurring in the body the way it's supposed to. Apoptosis takes care of the disease and cancer cells in the body. Thus, the increase in all of these diseases and mortality rates. So you do the math. The Acceleradine is increasing ATP production by 18 times in all 100 trillion cells of the body. And it supports optimal thyroid health, reversing hypothyroidism, reversing bone degradation. It is also radiation free and actually reverses or detoxes the body of the heavy metals and the radiation. Guess what else is really acidic to the body? radiation and heavy metals. So just by reversing that damage, you are seeing an improvement in bone health. That Acceleradine and that increase in ATP production is giving your cells the energy to go do the work, to repair and to combat the free radicals, to combat the oxidation, to combat all the things that lead to bone loss. Accelerated thyroid goes right along with the Acceleradine because it helps with hypothyroidism, and hypothyroid can lead to a higher risk of developing arthritis, fluid buildup in the joints, and swelling in the joints. Furthermore, the thyroid hormones affect the rate of bone replacement. So your thyroid health is not just about weight loss, right? So when you have hypothyroidism, you are risking bone issues as well. And then you also have an issue of gaining too much fat weight, which is full of estrogens because your fat cells hold on estrogens. And that imbalance of hormones is going to affect your bone density as well. And a lack of muscle mass, because without the energy and being more hypothyroid, you're not going to have the energy to lift the heavier weights to spur bone density and bone health. So accelerated thyroid not only helps support optimal bone formation and reduce arthritic symptoms, but it heals the thyroid naturally, supports that optimal metabolism, increasing the fat burning, and detoxes the thyroid once again of radiation and heavy metals that also cause bone loss. So accelerated thyroid and Acceleradine are focusing on the thyroid health, increasing that ATP production, and helping with the energy production so that you can go do the things that support bone density. Now we want to look at what is going to help with the minerals, because remember, your minerals, your diet intake of the calcium, magnesium, salt, sodium are really important for that bone density. Number one is the accelerated ancient salt. And I always tell people, when you are looking for energy, the energy is not coming from food, it's coming from hydration. And that hydration is from not just water, but from the proper salt. Accelerated ancient salt is not only strong, it has a strong negative charge to it, which means it helps pull out the positively charged toxins, parasites, and undigested fats. But it has over 62 alkaline minerals to help support the bone health and reduce the acidity in the body. You should be putting the accelerated ancient salt in your workout drink, in your sauna drink, just putting it on your food throughout the day, taking a detox bath with it. You can take 1 tablespoon in a bath and then fill the bath with a cup of Dead Sea salt, salts from Amazon or whatever, not a costly kind, but that will help detox the body, but then rehydrate the cells. It also helps reduce blood sugar. And if your blood sugar's high, you also are going to have acidity in the blood, and then your body's going to pull those minerals out of the bones to balance out that blood sugar. So by taking in more of the accelerated salt, you're helping do that. Of course, it tastes good too, so it's great on food. I actually had my husband tell me this weekend, he said, you should be selling this in markets. Get rid of the thought that it's even good for you. It just tastes good and people love it. And I'm like, you're right. It does. I don't need any other seasoning when I'm seasoning my food, but it increases the alkalinity, reduces inflammation to combat osteoporosis and arthritis. It provides those 62 minerals and electrolytes. It alleviates nausea. So a lot of people are getting nauseous because their livers are not functioning well because of exposure to COVID or the spike protein. We're finding that the liver is really needing a lot of help, you guys. That is why we need to be doing our liver flushes. But what's happening is the liver's unable to break down fats and proteins into usable parts to get the most out of it. And then you're getting this backup and you're getting nauseous when you eat fat. So the accelerated ancient salt actually helps with the occasional nausea, helps suppress appetite. So if you're trying to intermittent fast, which helps with bone density, and I'll get to that in a minute. It is great to put on your tongue, help with your intermittent fasting as well. And it rehydrates the body at the cellular level. So you've got this sodium potassium pump inside and outside the cell. Well, I've used the example before, but when my son was an athlete, still is an athlete and overdoes it, but in high school, his heart was stopping and he literally had to pound on his heart to get it going again. And the reason was he was deficient in electrolytes because his sodium potassium pump did not have enough potassium to balance that out, and it wasn't going. And the only reason that he could get it started again with pounding it was because he had a 15-year-old heart and it was young. If he was older, there would have been a problem. So now, of course, he is supplementing with a lot of electrolytes because he works out a lot, and that's needed. And he's got the strength training, so that's going for him with his bone density, but he needs to make sure he's supplementing with the right electrolytes. So accelerated ancient salt has so many benefits. Combine that with the Acceleradine, it's also helping to detox the body from the radiation and the heavy metals. So it's doing all of these things at once. It doesn't make you bloated, actually reduces the bloat, the wrong bloat, the extracellular water and the inflammation, but hydrates the intracellular water. And Heather Hineker and I have talked about how the body scan, the in-body scan, can measure your intracellular water versus your extracellular water. The intracellular water is going to increase the bathroom scale just like the extracellular, but it's the right kind of water versus the wrong kind of water. So it's really important that you are able to distinguish that. So in addition to the accelerated ancient salt, you can use Wild-Lytes, and this is an alkaline electrolyte supplement with no oxalates and no sulfur, where a lot of electrolyte supplements have those things in them that are disrupting your liver detox pathways as you're taking a supplement, hopefully to get some benefit, right? So Wild-Lytes has helps with the daily stress, inflammation, acidity, adrenal fatigue, immune disruption at the cellular level, and providing that foundation for whole body health. I wanted to touch on adrenal health. We are seeing that the adrenals are being tapped more than normal from the spiked protein. So take your daily stress of what it was 10 years ago and compare it to today. If you have that same level of stress, it's affecting your adrenals more today than it did 10 years ago. And what you need is salt, 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 electrolytes, electrolytes, electrolytes. When your adrenals are burned out, you need to supplement with these electrolytes and the salt to help combat that. I'm also recommending adrenaline for those who think they have insufficient adrenals. I use the word adrenal fatigue, but really there is no such a thing. But with that, the adrenaline is a supplement for your adrenal support. But first, use the accelerated salt and the Wild-Lytes. And unlike many of the electrolyte supplements, nothing in this formulation of the Wild-Lytes downregulates the phase 1 liver detoxification that blocks the sulfur pathways or for the oxalate metabolism. That's a mouthful. So in other words, what I was saying is a lot of electrolyte formulas do disrupt what your liver's trying to do with the oxalates and the sulfur and making matters worse. So you've got the accelerated salt, the Wild-Lytes, and now the QuintEssential. The QuintEssential contains up to 78 alkaline bioavailable ionic minerals, and it's like taking a bath in what your body wants, right? Highly bioavailable, mineral rich. It nourishes the cells and it helps support bone health, reduces arthritic pain, hydrates the cells properly, heals leaky gut, and improves digestion. Next, you want to be supplementing with magnesium. Magnesium is involved in over 600 different biochemical reactions in your body, including preventing osteoporosis. Yet, 80% of you are deficient. The soils don't have the magnesium they used to have, in addition to the other nutrients they once contained. Magnesium deficiency can increase disease risks and increase the risk of osteoporosis. So another thing, this is why a lot of you are waking up in the middle of the night with leg cramps. You're deficient in magnesium. The magnesium breakthrough contains 7 types of magnesium. All functions of the body need different types of magnesium to use. And so it's great. The magnesium breakthrough includes all 7 types. The OxyClear includes 1 type of magnesium. That's another option. But I like the magnesium breakthrough for a magnesium supplement. Next, you can get into the stem cell activation patches. So the X39 patch, this is the first product to use phototherapy to activate your own stem cells, including supporting bone health and reversing arthritis. I think probably one of the top testimonials, or the amount of testimonials that the X39 get, is from you guys that have arthritis and that you're seeing a difference in your arthritic pain. Through the mechanism, your body naturally reduces inflammation, resets over 4,000 genes, and in turn protects existing mitochondria and produces more ATP. So with improved cellular health, you're improving the absorption of your minerals, repairing the bone, repairing the joints, inflammation's diminished, pain is reduced. But what's really exciting is the X49 patch. Why I like this is because it's not only supporting bone density because of the AHK copper peptide. It is proven to improve that bone density and preventing osteoporosis. But what else it's doing, it's increasing energy and recovery from exercise, increasing stamina, improving cardiovascular function and focus. So what's that doing? That's giving you more motivation to work out with stronger or heavier weights, do more, have more momentum and motivation. And then that is going to improve your bone density on its own as well. It's then going to reduce belly fat, increase muscle tone, which is going to increase ATP at the muscular level, because ATP in a fat cell is very little. ATP in a muscle cell, huge. So you're increasing that ATP production, and the muscle is going to then put more demand on the bone, and then that's going to strengthen the bone. So a lot of people are experiencing faster, thicker hair growth as well. And it may also be like a Faraday cage around your body to protect from 5G and radiation, which is also helping with the acidity that the radiation and the 5G are causing. Next is the energy enhancer patch. So just like with the X49, this is helping encourage good behavior that also encourages good bone density. The energy enhancer patch improves the cell walls, and that means that you have the ability to let out the toxins of the cells and increase the absorption of the minerals and the electrolytes and the nutrition into the cells. And this is also measured by the in-body scan that Heather Hineker and I have been talking about. So the energy enhancer patch is improving that sodium potassium pump that I talked about, right? So You're increasing energy as well, increasing endurance, reducing fatigue and muscle soreness. So you are going to work out harder and lift heavier weights. It can also be used on acupuncture points, help with nausea, reflux, improve digestion, strengthen the organs, drain the dampness, the edema, the inflammation, the extracellular water, and it signals the body to increase beta oxidation in the mitochondria for fat burning. That is the quickest way to increase fat burning. Also uses about 300 extra calories per day. So a lot of you are talking about unexplained weight gain, and this is being led back to, on a side note, and I'm going to dive deeper into it at a later date, the spike protein causing the liver to have a disruption of the conversion of the ACE2 enzyme in the liver. So that is causing unexplained weight gain, right? So the energy enhancer patch is actually helping with that by burning extra calories throughout the day. Liquid Biocell collagen. So after the age of 30, the body loses collagen. And in bone, collagen represents more than 90% of the organic matrix. 90%. It's also 80% of your eyesight. So many collagen supplements have suboptimal absorption and could be actually causing inflammation in the gut, leading to even more malabsorption. Some of them come from beef, where you take it in and your body goes, I don't know what to do with this. I don't recognize this. And they just excrete it. And it could be inflammatory. It could have other ingredients in there that are causing issues. I have tested so many collagens because honestly, I was hoping to find one that was cheaper, that was still doing a good job. But the liquid Biocell collagen synergistically supports both joints, bones, skin through replenishing the hydrolyzed collagen, hyaluronic acid, and chondroitin sulfate all in one in a high bioavailable form. And it's the only liquid nutraceutical to offer clinical studies and with multiple patents. I love this. I've been using it since 2015. If you want to go back on my website and see a before and after picture when I was in a car accident, I hit my eye on the steering wheel at the speed of 50 miles an hour, and I had stitches down to the bone. The doctor gave me an antibiotic, never used it. All I used was the accelerated silver and the liquid Biocell collagen, topically and orally. And within 1 week, I show the before and after pictures. You would be shocked at the improvement. And this was before any stem cell patches, before a lot of any of the other supplements I'm talking about, just from the liquid Biocell collagen. The doctor thought I was doing something. He did not understand how I could have had such an improved results within a week. It was amazing. Next is accelerated keto. And you think, okay, why accelerated keto for bone strength and health? Accelerated keto is triggering you to be in ketosis. When your body's in a state of ketosis, it naturally maintains muscle mass and bone density and targets the fat for energy. It mostly, when you are eating sugar and carbs, the body burns the sugar and carbs, and then when it runs out of that energy, it goes straight to burning and breaking down your muscle and for energy. It doesn't know how to tap into your fat stores. And then what happens is then it weakens the bones, because it's then going to seep out the minerals from the bones to help with the acidity from the sugar. So when you're in ketosis with the accelerated keto and intermittent fasting, inflammation is reduced, stress is reduced, and the cravings for sugar and carbs goes down. And then you're able to heal the gut, which then leads to minerals absorbing much better. So it's really important. Accelerated copper. Copper helps prevent osteoporosis, period. There's a copper dependent enzyme that plays a role in bone formation and also plays an important role in the collagen formation. It's like the unsung hero. It is the guy behind the scenes doing all the work. Accelerated Scalar Copper is the only copper supplement with 99% absorption. Most copper supplements have only 5 to 10% absorption, and it's enhanced with scalar frequencies to enhance the efficacy of it. So with all of these supplements, you want to do intermittent fasting. There's so many benefits to it, but when the body's in an intermittent fasting period, gut inflammation's reduced, leaky gut begins to heal, absorption of all the nutrients improves, including those minerals for bone health, and that is optimized. And your body is going to maintain its muscle mass and bone density and burn that body fat for fuel. And when you do eat, you want to focus on the wild animal protein. These proteins not only provide the necessary amino acid building blocks for strong bones, but they provide the minerals and nutrients that typically are sought after in those green leafy vegetables that contain the oxalates that lead to arthritis and bone loss. And now, more important than ever, stay away from the chicken and the conventional beef, turkey, poultry, pork, because those have the spike protein, those have the amyloid proteins that are building up in the bodies. They're not able to be broken down by the liver into usable amino acids for the muscles, and they're not even giving you much nutrients. I mean, just look at the redness of a lot of the wild animal protein, and you can just see that there's so much more nutrient density than there is in the pork and the chicken and the poultry. Many of those vegetables, remember, that you think you're getting the nutrients from have things in them that are backing up the liver and actually causing a degradation of your bones and your nutritional profile. So focus on that wild animal protein. It's also going to stabilize your blood sugar, going to help with energy, ATP production. And on my website, I have a list of the wild animal proteins and even some websites that is really easy to order. They've got bratwurst and sausages and beef jerkies or jerkies, I should say, all different types of meats. And it's not that expensive. You think it's going to be more expensive. It's not. You then want to focus on certain green vegetables and fruits, nuts. So some of them halt the body's need to steal the minerals from the bones, right? These vegetables are alkaline, and that's what we need to focus on. So we do need this in our body. Some vegetables have oxalates and sulfur that disrupt those detox pathways. So you need to focus on the ones that don't. And on my website, I have a list of those foods to watch out for and the foods to focus on. So I provide all of that. I wanted to touch on some of the benefits of the intermittent fasting, like because this is a big part of it too. When you are fasting, your body's not in starvation mode. You're eating enough calories during your eating window. So the body says, oh, well, I'm going to be fed. I trust her. I'm going to use the accelerated keto and ride out this wave of being in ketosis, reduce inflammation, heal the leaky gut, go after the body fat, not go after my muscles. And I'm going to improve blood sugar, lower blood pressure, improve brain function, help prevent dementia, reduce the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer, increase autophagy, which is the cleanup of the diseased and damaged cells, increase ATP and mitochondrial health, improve the detoxification of heavy metals, reverse insulin resistance. Insulin resistance degrades bone health. So that's another thing to keep in mind. It improves fat burning, improves metabolic flexibility, and balances out cholesterol levels. Another thing we're seeing is with the spike protein, it is causing an increase in cholesterol. So I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below if your cholesterol all of a sudden is going through the roof. Tell me what you're seeing on your blood tests. I would love to know, what's your blood sugar like? What does your liver enzymes look like? Have they changed in the last 2 years? Tell me, comment below, and we will look at this together. But a lot of these things are causing the degradation in health, including bone and osteoporosis and arthritis. You have to be sleeping as well. Strength train, strength train, strength train, lift heavy weights, do the things that are hard, and tell me, how are you feeling? What do you see when you implement some of these things that I've talked about? I have talked about a lot of supplements, a lot of little things to incorporate into your daily regimen. It can be overwhelming. That's why you need to join my group coaching on Telegram with the link below. That's where you can take this journey one step of it at a time. You don't need to do all of these things all at once. So take the things that really speak to you. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you are feeling, what you are doing differently, and what results you are getting. Thanks for joining me today. And if I can help you specifically with your health, you can also contact me directly through the website, sarabantahealth.com. Happy to put together a protocol for you. Like I said, join the free group coaching on Telegram with the link below. There's no downside. We learn from each other, and I teach you on a daily basis with tips and tools to enhance your health. And you'll be a part of a like-minded group to support you on your journey, in addition to truly taking control of your health. The protocols and supplements I discuss are all found at sarabantahealth.com. Same with the food list and the foods to stay away from, the foods to incorporate, and all of the protocols and the cleanses are there as well. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Tag me when you're using my supplements. Would love to interact with you on social media under Accelerated Health Products. And you can also find this podcast and all my podcasts over 100 different channels under Accelerated Health Radio and TV, including YouTube, Stitcher, Pandora, iTunes, or whatever podcast platform you subscribe to. Share it with a friend. Help spread the word. It really helps me, helps get to more people like you. Join us every week, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific and Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. You can use coupon WELCOME10 for 10% off site-wide. Thanks again for joining us here on Accelerated Health TV and Radio Show, and have a great week.